Remove nothing immediately. Observe the machine first. Notice the cracked display. Notice the missing buttons. Notice the faint humming sound. Patience improves understanding. Expiration dates no longer apply. Calendars ended generations ago. Seasons stopped reporting for duty. Clocks surrendered their authority. Ignore any timestamps you encounter. Available products include a forgotten nickname, 3 unfinished apologies, 1 afternoon from childhood, several misplaced opportunities. Exact change is unnecessary. Technicians attempted repairs repeatedly. One became a sculptor. Another started raising bees. A third disappeared while searching for the instruction manual. No successful outcome was documented. Unexpected side effects may occur. You might remember events differently. You might miss places never visited. You might recognize strangers instantly. Do not panic. Most reactions fade gradually. Behind the glass waits a snowstorm from the future. Packaging remains intact. Forecast accuracy remains uncertain. Purchase at your own discretion. A traveler inserted a coin minted in a vanished nation. The machine responded politely. Moments later, an entire sunset emerged through the delivery slot. Nobody knew how to carry it home. Who owns the machine? Unknown. Who stocked the inventory? Unknown. Can refunds be requested? The machine laughed at that question. Operations paused briefly last winter. The reason remains classified. Rumors mention migrating constellations. Others mention paperwork. Neither explanation feels convincing. Crowds gather occasionally, mostly empty-handed. Several remain for hours. A few returned every year. Interest appears unrelated to purchases. Should the stars begin blinking in alphabetical order, avoid pressing additional buttons. Experience suggests complications. Further details were unfortunately lost. Eventually, the machine will offer a single remaining choice. No labels, no images, no description. Only a blinking light. Whatever emerges afterward, keep it carefully. The universe stopped manufacturing those a very long time ago. Far beyond shipping routes, a tower stood on black stone. No vessels approached it, no maps highlighted it, no government claimed responsibility. Still, the light remained active. Those who reached the island rarely came seeking directions. Different motives guided them. An unanswered thought, a lifelong uncertainty. A mystery carried for years. The lighthouse accepted all visitors. No forms required completion. The other remained blank. Hundreds of steps climbed upward. Every landing contained a plaque. Some asked simple things. Why do memories fade? Others felt heavier. What should have been said? Nobody reached the top quickly. The caretaker appeared ordinary. Gray coat, weathered hands, tired eyes. Nothing suggested expertise. Yet visitors trusted the answers more than any textbook. Not every question qualified. Lottery numbers were rejected. Exam results were rejected. Sports predictions were rejected. The tower preferred uncertainty, with emotional weight attached. At the summit, the mechanism waited silently. Questions entered as whispers. Responses emerged differently. A smell from childhood, a forgotten melody, a brief image, a sudden realization. Words were rarely involved. One traveler arrived asking, "Did I choose correctly?" Hours later, the same traveler departed smiling. Observers requested details, none were provided. Storms visited frequently. Lightning surrounded the cliffs. Rain attacked the windows. Wind shook the structure. The beam never faltered, not once. Thousands arrived. Many received clarity. Several received acceptance. A few received additional questions. Oddly enough, those seem most satisfied. After many decades, the caretaker finally vanished. No farewell message appeared, no successor arrived. The island seemed abandoned for exactly 1 week. On the 8th evening, the light returned, brighter than before. Travelers continued crossing the sea. Tokens continued appearing. Answers continued finding owners. Apparently, some institutions endure because uncertainty never goes away. Someone reported a missing Tuesday. Not a person, not an object. An entire afternoon. The complaint arrived handwritten, folded twice, and marked urgent. The clerk seemed unsurprised. Such reports appeared regularly. Lost conversations, abandoned ambitions, misremembered summers, half-finished promises. The filing cabinets were enormous. Shelves extended beyond sight. One box contained a picnic interrupted by rain. Another preserved an unanswered phone call. A larger container stored 3 years of hesitation. Handling required authorization. Staff were reminded to separate accidents from choices. The distinction mattered. Some things disappear unexpectedly. Others quietly walk away while nobody is paying attention. Witness accounts rarely aligned. A teacher recalled sunlight. A musician recalled thunder. A child recalled fireworks. All described the same afternoon. accuracy became negotiable. Behind a locked door, forgotten versions of people waited. The painter who never started, the traveler who stayed home, the friend who never called back. Silence occupied every chair. Employees gathered around a small table. Discussion remained professional. Someone misplaced a decade, someone misplaced confidence, someone misplaced an opportunity during the winter of 2008. Nobody laughed. Occasionally an item found its owner. A melody returned unexpectedly. A memory resurfaced during breakfast. An old dream arrived without warning. Paperwork followed immediately. Procedures existed for everything. Funding remained insufficient. Regret required storage space. Nostalgia required maintenance. Second chances proved expensive. Several departments requested expansion. Requests were denied politely. A misplaced afternoon was located. It had been hiding inside a familiar smell. Fresh rain, warm pavement, open windows. The owner recognized it instantly. Lights dimmed across the archives. Folders returned to shelves. Typewriters fell silent. Hallways emptied gradually. Another workday reached completion. Somewhere beyond official records, new losses continued occurring. A future conversation, a possible friendship, a road not taken. Tomorrow's paperwork was already growing. Business, it seemed, would remain steady forever. Forever. Representatives arrived shortly before dusk. Reflections entered through mirrors. Shadows entered through doorways. Neither group acknowledged the other. Tension was expected. The chairperson called for order. Order declined politely. Several silhouettes objected immediately. Multiple reflections requested clarification. The agenda survived somehow. Ownership became the central issue. Who accompanies a person more faithfully? Reflection cited accuracy, shadow cited loyalty. Debate escalated rapidly. Mirrors presented visual records. Alleys provided witness testimony. Streetlights supplied documentation. Rain puddles submitted exhibits. Review committees became overwhelmed. A candle requested permission to speak. Permission was denied. The candle spoke anyway. Minutes later, half the attendees changed shape. Procedural complications followed. Smaller discussions formed around the room. One cluster examined moonlit behavior. Another analyzed disappearing corners. A third investigated elevator mirrors. Conclusions remained elusive. Hospitality proved difficult. Reflections consumed appearances. Shadows preferred absence. Catering services filed a complaint. Future arrangements require revision. An influential silhouette argued. Visibility does not guarantee understanding. The room became quieter. Several mirrors avoided eye contact. A polished reflection responded calmly. Remaining hidden does not create wisdom. Notebooks filled quickly. Observers sensed progress. Ballots produced unusual results. 43 votes favored compromise. 43 opposed compromise. One ballot contained a sketch of a cat. Its intent remains unknown. No treaty was signed. No side claimed victory. No reporter declared success. Still, hostility seemed reduced. Sometimes that is enough. Night settled over the city. Storefront glass reflected passing strangers. Street lamps stretched figures across sidewalks without announcements or ceremonies. Both delegations resumed their duties, working together as they always had. Most maps track rivers. Most maps track borders. Most maps track roads. This one tracked something else. A different kind of terrain. Invisible, personal, difficult to cross. The cartographer began accidentally. One wrong decision required documentation. Another required comparison. Several demanded classification. Soon entire notebooks filled with estimates. A career emerged unexpectedly. Minor regrets occupied short distances. Missed buses, forgotten birthdays, unsent messages. Larger regions required additional pages. The measurements increased dramatically. Remote areas proved challenging. Old relationships created rough topography. Abandoned ambitions produced deep valleys. Delayed apologies generated unstable ground. Travel demanded caution. Compasses offered little assistance. Photographs helped occasionally. Music helped unpredictably. Certain smells proved remarkably accurate. Memory remained the primary instrument. One participant possessed an enormous unexplored peninsula. Its boundaries formed around a sentence never spoken at the right moment. Satellite imagery confirmed nothing. The peninsula remained real anyway. Experts gathered annually. Charts covered every wall. Graphs covered every table. Arguments covered every conversation. Consensus never arrived. Attendance remained excellent. Curious phenomenon appeared repeatedly. Several people carried identical mountains, different names, different histories, yet remarkably similar landscapes. Researchers found this comforting. Maps required constant updates. Some territory shrank over time. Others expanded unexpectedly. Acceptance altered coastlines. Understanding redirected rivers. Nothing stayed fixed. Visitors examined the collection quietly. Many located familiar landmarks. Several pointed toward forgotten routes. A few laughed unexpectedly. Recognition produced strange reactions. The last volume contained a note, not a warning, not instructions, an observation. Perfect accuracy was impossible. People continue changing after measurements are taken. Years later, the maps remain incomplete. New paths appear daily. Old borders disappear overnight. Some distances grow shorter, others finally vanish. Perhaps that is the closest thing to reaching the destination.